Welcome back to Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. You're listening to 5 Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. And today I want to talk to you on morning routines and specifically why a morning routine prevents the outside world from draining you. So, a lot of people have 9-to-5 jobs, or maybe now, the world is shifting a little bit. Some people might have a 7-to-3 job, but you have to wake up early in the morning. So Robin Sharma feels that your morning routine should be completed by 8 a.m. But regardless whether you have a morning routine that you complete at 8 a.m., I remember reading Michelle Obama's book, and she would get up at 4:30 in the morning because she had to go to the gym and work out and be back home before Barack went to work. And I know a lot of people that have to do that they have to get up early in the morning, but and do your morning routine. But since the pandemic, a lot of people are working from home. I work from home, and my morning routine is a little different. Mine start at 8 o'clock necessarily. It doesn't finish at 8 o'clock. But regardless of when you do your morning routine, it's very, very important to have one, because it's almost like filling up your tank with positive energy and positive things, because a morning routine is something that you do for you do for yourself, right? It's a form of self-care. You might even say self-love, because if you're doing it, you're loving yourself. And because of that, it fills up your tank. So I mentioned that my morning routine is pretty intensive because I work for myself. And mine is about 3 hours long. It starts at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I don't, finish until sometimes, 11:30 or so. So in Robin Sharma's book, 5 a.m. Club, he talked about that you must have it, do your morning routine by 8 o'clock. And I haven't read his book, but I've heard him, talk about it. And there might be some scientific data why, 8 o'clock is the magic number. But, my morning routine starts with meditation. So let me give you mine, right? My morning routine starts with meditation. There's a time that I would meditate in bed, because I wake up about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm not ready to get up out of bed yet. And I find that if I meditate, it puts me back to sleep. So then I, get up at around 7:30 or so. So that's why I do my meditation in bed. And then I would used to get up out of bed and I would sit on my meditation cushion. So now I've cut that out. Instead of me sitting on my meditation cushion, I have incorporated, reading my Bible. So I read several chapters out of my Bible, and I pray, right? So that takes away, sitting on my meditation cushion while I've already meditated. And then I go and walk, right? Sometimes after I read the Bible, I get inspired to write, because I love writing. One of the reasons I do this 5-minute segments is because it allows me to write, because I have to write these, I have to write these segments. So, once I'm inspired, I've meditated, my brain is functioning well, I'm connected to source, then I write. And, I even write poems. So I write then. I don't do it every day because I don't always need to do it every day. But so after I do that, then I go to the park. And I live in Florida, so I absolutely love walking in the park. I walk a 5K, which takes me about an hour to do. And while I'm walking, what makes it so much pleasurable for me is because I've got my headset on and I'm either listening to self-improvement books or I'm listening to a self-improvement podcast. And it really fills me up. It fills me up, especially when I'm listening to stories. I love stories. I like listening to, stories and tell people their childhood and what they had to go through and the things they have to come across. So I love that. So That fills me up like a level 10 joy. But the other thing is I walk in a park, and I learned from Sadhguru and a couple of other, luminaries that, to keep the nature, communicate with nature. So, I have trees that I've named and I stop and I touch them and I talk to them and but the energy, and then I heard a preacher talking about rocks, and I sit on a rock and try to soak up the energy of the rock, and I do all these different things, right? And so when I leave the park, then, and then I get back home, that's my morning routine. So it goes from about 8 o'clock to 11:30. And now that I've incorporated intermittent fasting, it's actually beautiful because then I don't eat until then. So that is my morning routine, and it works for me. And I will tell you that I am de-stressed. I'm harder to react to input in life because I'm finding peace and I'm finding calm. Right. So now, one of the reasons I wanted to share this with you is because of what Robin Sharma talks about, the morning routine in this 5 a.m. club. I just added mine in, for a little flavor. But Robin Sharma says that, there's 5 acts of character training that a morning routine helps you with. And if you do it consistently, then your spirit soars, right? And you have superb days because, like I said, you're filling your tank. So it's harder for it to get empty because you fill it up. And you know what happens when your tank is empty, right? You blow up, you're stressed, everything bothers you. So this is the Robin Sharma's morning routine. And I might even incorporate some of the things that he's got in here because I love it. So he talks about starting your morning routine by writing a letter of gratefulness to someone who deserves to be recognized. He says that each person alive today craves sincere appreciation, and handwriting a letter to a good soul is a gift for both of you. It's a gift for you who's writing a letter, and it's a gift for the person that is receiving it. Now, this is good. At one point in time, I should say one point in time, sometimes I would do a gratitude meditation, and I learned Louis Hayes has got an excellent one, and whenever I do it, I feel so good. But I've learned a long time ago that if you're fighting with your husband or you're upset at somebody, if you find something you're grateful for about them, then you can't be mad at them any longer. So gratitude and gratefulness is a great way to be. So it's great that Robin Sharma includes that in his morning routine. The second thing he says is that read from a profound book. We live in a world where very few go deep. We seek informal news in bite-sized chunks and scroll our feeds in hot pursuit of glitter. But before 8 a.m., he says that you should sit quietly and read from a great human autobiography or from a text of philosophy to ground you in what's important before you start your day. Now, I actually do this one. I read from the Bible, right? And like I was telling you, my highest level of satisfaction is reading an autobiography, right? Where people tell their stories of their lives about, what they did to get to where they are right now. And I absolutely love that. So he's saying that, yes, that should be in your morning routine. And I'm sure it's because it's input, right? It's input into your life, it's into your world, it's knowledge, right? And knowledge stays there dormant until you're ready to use it. And then it just pops back up, but knowledge is important, right? Number 3, he said, see your highest life. Take 5 minutes with your eyes closed to imagine yourself behaving and performing as the person you most long to be. Make the movie vivid and colorful and real. Over time, as your self-identity rewires, you begin to inhabit the life you've invented. Again, I do this because Sadhguru, I don't remember who was it. I don't think it's Sadhguru now, I'm thinking. But anyway, one of the books that I've read taught me that, oh, right, sorry. Right, it's Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm reading his book right now called Supernatural. And in the book, he talks about a walking meditation where you sit and you get yourself into a higher emotional state by remembering a loved one or remembering something that puts you in an elevated state of emotion. And then you started walking and visualizing something that you want to get to. And when you're visualizing it, you are walking in it. He said you walk a little differently because you're walking in it. So it's the same thing that Robin Sharma is talking about here. But I do it when I'm walking in the park. I do it when I'm communing with nature because I think it elevates, obviously it elevates my emotions. And I think that the trees do something to propel your consciousness maybe to the spirit world, to God. So that's why I do it when I'm in the park. But that's basically what the same thing he's talking about. Number 4, he says to perform an act of generosity. Before 8 a.m. each day, do one tiny gesture to make someone's life a little better. It could be a smile to a stranger or a hug to your child, paying for coffee for the person in line behind you, or thanking the bus driver. Now, I do this as act of service. And I remember, listening to Joel Osteen a long time ago, where he talks about he does acts of service to his wife by getting up earlier and making a pot of coffee for her. He doesn't drink coffee, but we do that. And I do that for my husband too. I get up and I make coffee and, just perform acts of service. If you're not out in the world, you can perform your acts of service and generosity at home. And by the way, that's one of the love languages, right? So whoever you're doing it for is going to feel your love. All right. Now, number 5, he says, is to turn off your phone until 8 a.m. The early morning hours have deep magic within them. Life is too short to miss this glory because you're addicted to technology. Right. So yes, nobody is calling me at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I understand that. But the people that, are still working and they have teams and they have team meetings and they have people emailing them at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're working all the time. So I can understand how you get up out of bed and you're running to your emails and you have to respond and you're go, 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 go. But yeah, you need some downtime in the morning. You need some time to just be you and to just chill and to, in the olden days, you would see the people get up and, have their coffee and read the newspaper. It's morning routine. It's downtime. It's chilling. It's starting your day, not rush, 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 right? So there you have 2 different morning routines, Robin Sharma and mine. But the point is that you need to have one, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 50 minutes, whether it's half an hour, whether it's an hour, and hey, if you're working from home, do 3 hours like me, right? I still get to work, I am, at my computer like at 12 and, I'm there until 6, consistently. So thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of 5-Minute Fridays with Coach Myrna. Today we talked about morning routines, and I hope that you were inspired to continue doing yours if you're doing it, and if you're not doing one, to start one. So until next time, namaste.